I admit it, I had no idea what Dandadan is about, but now that I've seen it and started reading the manga, I get the hype. Dandadan is absolute cinema, and I regret not starting it sooner. This story is just pure madness. It's so wild and unpredictable that even if I told you that there's a medical mannequin romance plot or a cow gets taken by aliens for her milk, it won't be a spoiler. Yep, the context is so unpredictable that even knowing what happens won't stop you from getting caught off guard by the sudden nature of the story. These were just 2 examples, but I'm sure everyone must have seen those memes about the main guy literally losing his balls. You must have also seen those scenes where the main girl is getting abducted by aliens who look like creepy men, and in that case, not knowing the context makes that scene so much worse than it actually is. It's creepy, but not in a sexual way. There's fan service, but the intention is to make you laugh, not to make you feel horny. I'd honestly say that Dandadan is what most people expected Chainsaw Man to be. It's not like Chainsaw Man at all though. It's weirder, more unpredictable compared to the usual anime story development. But that's also what makes this series feel so fresh in comparison to every other shonen piece. I mean, the main goal is for the main character to retrieve his balls, which doesn't sound as grandiose as becoming the Pirate King, but most men wouldn't be okay if a ghost granny took their balls. Do note that I'm literally talking about his family jewels and not just some metaphor. The main character isn't chasing after something like the Dragon Balls, he's chasing after his own balls. By the way, let me also point out that Yukinobu Tatsu, the creator of Dandadan, was actually Fujimoto's assistant, and as you all know, Fujimoto is the author of Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch. So, yes, Tatsu-sensei definitely picked up some of the weirdness while helping Fujimoto-sensei with his manga, and I love that for him. This isn't about which one is better, it's about how Dandadan's approach is unique. We can't compare it to other major shonen because there are barely any similarities. The more you read, the more you realize that the author isn't following any action or shonen manga formula. He's just embracing the weirdness and adding more depth to it as the story goes on. As one random internet user said, Dandadan is like regular show but in Japan. So seriously, for those who haven't seen it yet, what is Dandadan even about? If we're talking about the premise, it all starts off with an interesting dynamic between a popular pretty girl named Momo Ayase and a geeky boy named Ken Takakura. We're gonna call him OKARUN. Now, this all sounds like a typical popular girl meets otaku high school anime, right? Well, no. Momo believes that ghosts exist, but the occult isn't real, while OKARUN believes that the occult is real, but ghosts don't exist. Momo does have a valid reason for believing the existence of ghosts, because her hot grandma is a spirit medium. But as for OKARUN, he takes conspiracies a little too seriously. I mean, I don't think most people believe that President Obama has already been to Mars. Anyway, the two of them challenge each other's beliefs by making a bet. If Momo can show him a ghost, she'll make him her personal servant. And if OKARUN can show her a UFO, he'll make her his servant instead. As you can see, it's pretty serious right from the get-go. A high school girl and guy betting their personal freedom on whether things like ghosts or UFOs exist or not. Of course, it turns out that ghosts are real, but aliens and UFOs are also real. And from there on out, the story's all about the supernatural, but every ghost and alien gets a surprising amount of context, lore, and background. Doesn't matter if they're good or evil, the author shows genuine care in handling both the main characters and the supernatural or extraterrestrial entities. Also, the way the author delivers the delicate romance between Momo and OKARUN just gets you rooting for them both. I'm not sure if they would have already adapted chapter 27 by the time you see this video, but let me tell you that what got me interested in this story was actually a panel I saw a long time ago. There's this climactic panel of a cow being sent to space with all the main characters watching. It was that panel that got me curious about Dandadan. This is why I said that I regret not starting it sooner. I saw that panel, got interested in the manga, but then forgot about it until the anime came out last month. I haven't caught up to all the manga chapters yet, but both the anime and the manga chapters I've experienced so far have been so enjoyable. The depth that some of these ghosts and aliens have can move you to tears. Turbo Granny jumped through the phone because she was able to hear through the phone that Momo, a young girl, was about to get assaulted. We're introduced to Turbo Granny as the villain, but then you realize that she's actually been comforting the spirits of deceased girls who died horrible deaths and eventually fused with an earthbound spirit within a tunnel. I also want to talk about the cow panel, because it's what got me curious about the manga in the first place. It looks like a silly joke, but then you read chapter 27 and finally learn all the context behind that amusing panel. There's an alien named Dover Demon who's been trying to earn money to pay for his sick son's blood transfusion. OKARUN gets emotional and wonders if selling his balls would be enough to pay for the blood transfusion. But thankfully for Momo, they later learn that the blood the aliens need is exactly the same as cow milk. The alien gets all emotional as Momo's grandma tells him that she can arrange a cow for him to take back to his planet. This is the lore behind that panel. And this is what the manga is about. As random as it gets, this is pretty much the story, but you enjoy getting taken for the ride. It's gonna make you laugh and cry, catch you by surprise, and make you love the hell out of our silly and goofy main characters. Dude, we even have cool and well-written female characters here, which is really refreshing. I'm glad it's joining stories like the Apothecary Diaries and Frieren, which have done female MCs exceptionally right. You can even argue that Momo is really the central MC of the story. She's never gonna get overshadowed by OKARUN. Both of them are equally important, but Momo gets the primary focus more. The humor is peak, and Dandadan also doesn't undermine its characters by relying on cheap gags or overused tropes. One moment you're laughing at some overly ridiculous situation, and the next moment you're bawling your eyes out as the manga discreetly handles dark themes like wars, imperialism, and mental health. The author continues to surprise you with the amount of care he puts into handling his characters and his themes. Plus, there's no sense of traditional power scaling. Every antagonist feels like a genuine threat that could seriously harm our protagonist. They don't get that MC plot armor. It keeps you on the edge of your seat because the stakes are always high. And the art is absolutely phenomenal. Just look. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I may actually prefer Tatsu's art style and paneling over Yusuke Murata's art style in One Punch Man. And what makes it even crazier is how the author delivers this level of art on a weekly basis. Hope he takes care of his health, by the way. We all know what happens to famous manga artists in Japan. Side note, we all hope Eiichiro Oda is okay. Both the art and the story are a breath of fresh air, and even though I regret not starting the story sooner, I'm genuinely happy with the amount of attention Dandadan is getting these days. The anime adaptation has done the manga justice. The vibrant colors, the smooth action scenes, the attention to detail. Science Saru Studios has truly put in a crazy amount of passion into Dandadan's anime adaptation, and it shows with each episode. Plus, I swear, even if you haven't watched the anime before, you must have already heard the brainwashing opening theme song. Even the anime-onlys can tell that the story is starting to peak. But you know what? Episode 7 is going to adapt Chapter 16, and that's where the author finally puts into perspective just how layered and well-written his silly story is. I mean, even Hideo Kojima, father of the stealth game genre, loves Dandadan. I hope we get the green light for the second season as soon as possible, because the manga is over 170 chapters in right now. There's enough content to do like 3 or 4 more anime seasons. If you watched my The End of Anime Era video, you'll know that there needs to be a rise of new anime to take the baton from Demon Slayer, One Piece, and JJK. Dandadan is clearly shaping up to be the next big thing. It might just be one of those that may eventually take the throne.